Well, in an article coming out of the Times of Israel, it states, taking Trump's peace push seriously, Netanyahu said looking to broaden coalition. And, it's not the broadening of the coalition that caught my eye in this article. It was something else, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. But this is what the article says. It says, with President Donald Trump pushing for Israeli-Palestinian peace progress, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is again looking to widen his coalition by bringing in politicians from the center-left, a TV report said. The report coincided with a new poll showing more Israelis backing than opposing a two-state solution based on the pre-1967 lines. The report on Israel's Channel 2 News on Friday night said that Netanyahu and the opposition leader Isaac Herzog spoke by phone on the eve of Trump's visit to Israel this week and have arranged to meet in the aftermath of Trump's visit. Herzog, who met with Trump briefly on Tuesday, has said repeatedly in the last few days that he would back Netanyahu from outside the coalition, were the prime minister to push for substantive progress in peacemaking with the Palestinians. Netanyahu is working to broaden his coalition because he wants room to maneuver should direct Israeli-Palestinian talks resume, said the TV report, which was not confirmed. The same station on Friday night also published a survey showing Israelis backing a two-state accord deal with the Palestinians based on the 1967 borders, adjusted to include the major settlement blocks by 47% to 39%, with 14% undecided. The survey also showed Netanyahu backed by 35% as their choice for prime minister, far ahead of his challengers. Trump reiterated on his May 22nd, 23rd visit here that he seeks to broker an Israeli-Palestinian accord, while Netanyahu highlighted his skepticism about Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas's readiness for a deal. He did tell Trump that for the first time in many years, and Mr. President, for the first time in my lifetime, I see a chance for real hope and change. For this part, Trump was adamant in his final speech at the Israel Museum on Tuesday that Abbas and the Palestinians are ready to reach for peace. Trump's son-in-law and advisor Jared Kushner, who along with international negotiations envoy Jason Greenblatt, has been tasked by Trump with relaunching the peace process, reportedly told Herzog on Tuesday. We are planning to move fast in starting a diplomatic process in order to reach a deal. And of course, also in this article, Mr. Tillerson also said that Mr. Trump was very forceful in his talks with both leaders and that they needed to be very serious because he was. But the important point I wanted to bring up is that the vote that was published, or the survey that was published, that indicated that 47% opposed to 39% backed the two-state solution accord deal with the Palestinians. And on top of that, based on 1967 borders. Now, of course, there will be some adjustments as well to include any blocks of settlers that have taken on some of the West Bank. But the fact that the two-state solution now is being backed by the citizens of Israel, that is an amazing turn of events as far as I'm concerned. Now, one thing that we should understand is that right now we're all looking on the Israeli side. As stated in this article, that Mr. Netanyahu is very skeptical that if in fact Israel and the Palestinians did sit down together, that Mr. Abbas would not throw some type of curve in that would cause this peace process to explode as has happened in the past. But I think Mr. Trump is saying that, listen, he believes that if in fact the Israelis do not renege and jump off of the peace process, that he can overcome anything that Mr. Abbas tries to bring forth as an excuse. But as I've said many times, we need to see and wait this out for another couple of weeks, another couple of months. Mr. Trump has said that he wants to begin this process and sit down at the table within a month. But frankly, I have never seen the peace process ever come this close, and I certainly did not believe that they would ever back a Palestinian state based on pre-1967 borders. So I have to admit, this is somewhat of a shocking development. What's happened in the last week has been very shocking. And if you don't know the Lord, today is the day of salvation. Certainly we are living in the last days, but bottom line is that you could die today. And as I've always said, 150,000 people will die today. And the Bible says that the vast majority will end up in a burning hell. Don't let that happen to you. You need to come to the Lord today and accept Him as soon as possible. And you Christians, I don't know how many times I can warn you before this finally takes shape and the rapture happens. You need to get a copy of my Tribulation Period Survival Guide in the hands of every lost loved one, friend that you know. As I've said, there are two different versions you can buy. One, a digital version, which essentially is free. It's written in 9 different languages. But there's also a paperback version written in English that you can purchase for your lost friend or loved one and personally hand that to them. That way you will know that they will have critical information in their hands that is biblically based and will help them through the tribulation period when all the world is telling them to take the mark of the Antichrist. I want to encourage you to go down to the description section below this video and get your copies. And I don't mean just one. You need to get multiple copies and get them out to your friends and loved ones as soon as possible. I can't tell you how critical it is that you make this decision very soon. Well, this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.